Welcome to Around Town, featuring what's going on here in the greater Concord area. I'm your host, Dick Patten, as we're now celebrating the return of the bugs, hornets and beetles and ants and all that stuff. And the Kiwanis Fair is on the horizon, and baseball, little leagues, and all that stuff in Concord. All busy now, the fields are. And just a matter of weeks and they'll be filling the pools in the different neighborhoods. And my special guest today is Paul Brogan, and it's good to see you, Paul.
It's good to be here. In 6 months it'll be almost Thanksgiving.
I know it.
So I don't
you
know
imagine
when,
that, though.
No, how quickly it goes. That's
I know, and we're just talking about that. I said, the day after school ends in June,
yes,
they'll start their back to school sales.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
The minute the kids walk out the building, they'll start them in.
Absolutely.
Back to school sales. And then, of course, just then in August,
they'll start Halloween.
Halloween will start in,
Yes.
and whether or not we have the Halloween
store or not, who knows what's going on up here with that poor mall now that Bon-Ton is gone.
Yeah, it's sad.
Very sad. I went by the other night after it had closed and just looking in and seeing all of that emptiness in there and everything completely gone.
Especially where they had two sections.
Yes.
It was bad enough for having one, but to have the other area that was Steinbach or Sage Allen, I mean, now to get that one.
And I don't, the food court, there's really nothing there anymore. And the last time I was in the mall, hardly anybody even walking around. A few years ago, 10 years ago, you'd have hundreds of people just went up there for exercise because it was a nice, indoor place.
Yeah.
But people just don't seem to, I don't know, I never thought we would see the malls going the way that they are.
No, I never did either. I thought for sure that they would be
hanging on
for a long
time. Yeah.
Well, the mall in New Hampshire is Pheasant Lane is still hanging in there. Fox Run, I guess, down in Portsmouth, Newington, I guess that's still going on.
Not very well, but I know somebody that works at Macy's over there, and they said business at Macy's is off more than 50% from last year.
But they've been off, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they stay together just because of the Thanksgiving Day parade. But there you go. Now, there's one store I'm surprised it has not come to Concord. Whether because it's
which one?
Macy's.
Oh, I don't think there's enough. I mean, if Bon-Ton, which was really everything that Macy's has, but more affordable, and they have the great coupon programs.
Yeah.
And if they couldn't make it, I don't think Macy's. They do these big studies about and I think Concord people like to go to Manchester to Macy's.
Well, I think because even like with Sears and Penny's, I think because it tend to be bigger stores down there.
Yes.
I don't know. But I said years ago, I said, you wait and see, because Concord was developing stuff, so we wouldn't have to go to Manchester. But then Tilton started in developing up there off exit 20. So why would you have to go, anybody from, say, Littleton down or Plymouth down to Tilton, they wouldn't have to come to Concord anymore because they were all busy up there. And then you figure Hillsborough or that area was starting to develop a little bit. So why bother coming to Concord anymore? Those people from Keene didn't have to come to Concord. They could just go to Hillsborough. It's crazy.
Well, it's sad to see.
But, it's...
that huge piece of real estate, just hardly any cars in there anymore.
I know, at Sears especially.
Yeah.
They had their service department used to be really booming there for a while. And now, it's just like nothing there.
And of course, when Sears was downtown, that was a go-to place.
Oh, yeah.
On Friday night, that place was packed.
Oh, I know,
And just regular, there was always steady business. You'd see people going in and out of Sears. The same with Manchester when the Sears was on Elm Street. It was a very busy place.
Yeah.
And apparently they're having problems down there, too. I mean, the Sears name, you and I grew up. It was a reliable, trusted name. And they tried to reinvent it. Remember the softer side of Sears years ago? And they just seem to have lost their way.
Well, but didn't they merge in with
somebody?
Kmart?
I think so, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Whether that did any good, I don't know.
No.
It's just, I mean, one thing I remember about the old Sears store on Main Street. What is one thing you remember seeing there?
I just remember, for me, I loved that they had down the street the side entrance that took you right in, where all the appliances and things. It was just all together. But they had Santa Claus in the window, I remember, didn't they?
Yeah.
And
toward the end of it.
And I remember seeing that, and I just liked the way the store was laid out.
I remember as a kid going in there, and then as you came down, you went downstairs.
Yes.
And what was the thing that was down there hanging? It was that big red light.
Oh.
Remember, there was like a red light hanging at the bottom of the stairs. Whether that was a fire emergency light, I don't know. But I can remember that light to this day. And we never went up back there much.
No.
But upstairs, I think was the clothing department for men or something.
I think so.
I don't know. But
it was a good store.
They had Santa down in the basement there for a while.
Yes.
But then toward the end of it, he was upstairs in the corner window there, facing Western Auto and all that. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Now Penny's never had Santa, did they?
No.
When they were on Main Street?
Never saw him there. And I don't think Woolworths ever had him either.
No. Newberry's did.
Newberry's had him, that big gold chair.
Yes. And I don't think Kresge's had him either.
No, I don't think they did either. I don't think they did. Well, I mean, you figure I would think maybe a gentleman's agreement or something because stores were also close there.
True.
But, I was trying to line up the other day. I was talking to somebody, I sent somebody to Spears the other day for something because they were looking to get a watch fixed or something. And I said, well, on his lunch from the State House, I said, well, go to, Spears. And I was thinking back, they were on the side with Woolworths.
Yes, they were. Yep.
But were they directly next to Woolworths, or were they a couple stores down? I can't remember.
I don't remember either. I remember Spears being over there, and Grant's was over there too.
Yeah.
From the corner, you had Robert's Pharmacy, that was later McKinsey Ice Cream.
Yeah.
Then you had Woolworths. Was that the next place, or was there something? No, Penny's.
Well, if you started up at School Street
and come
you had that drugstore.
Yes. Robert's Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you came down to the shoe store. There was Tonkin Fraser.
Yes.
Then you came to Penny's.
Yes.
Then Woolworths. Then there was something that was that where Spears was
that
there?
That might have been where Spears was.
Or there was some other store in there. Then Spears maybe. Then you had the bank.
Yep.
Concord Savings, wasn't it?
Yes.
Concord
and Concord National both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then you crossed, and then of course you had Walker Street.
Yes. Warren Street.
Yeah, and then you had Dr. Volkel.
Yes. Yep.
His office was there.
And the Concord Camera store.
Yeah, Concord Camera was in there. And
then next to that, Hardy McSwiney, was it?
Hardy McSwiney was in there.
Was in there. And then David Heller.
Yes. I remember the big grand
beautiful looking, yes.
I know, the grand staircase.
And
then you had
Puritan.
Yeah. And then, of course, was the varsity shop eventually.
Yes.
Then the youth center.
Then
and
the Junior
Deb shop. Then Carroll Cutrate Pharmacy.
Yes. Yep.
And there was who else was in there after that? I don't know. There was something else in there after that, and then you had that block that burned.
That burned down.
Yeah.
Right.
Was that
yeah.
Corner
There was
Pharmacy?
I think that's where the Corner Pharmacy
That's where it was?
before
Yeah.
they moved across the
Yes,
street
yeah.
after the fire.
Where
and then
was
the Prince's shop moved in.
Yeah, where was Hoos's?
Hoos's? Oh yeah, Hoos's was over. Wasn't Hoos's?
Yeah, across.
Over by Edward Fine.
Yeah, I guess that's right. They were.
Mm-hmm.
So the fire didn't. They weren't over
No.
where the fire was.
No,
Okay.
no. But
Yeah, that was quite a. I as a kid, I can
Mhm.
remember that whole block was just.
And for a long time afterwards, it was just a deep pit.
Yes.
They had the wood around
That's
it.
right.
But you could look in and
But
see it.
But they did put Christmas lights all
Yes,
around it.
yep.
Yeah, but
Yes.
yeah, I know it.
And it was around that time that they stopped with the chandelier.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't know whether that had something to do with not having the building there or
I don't
what.
know.
That, for lighting, for plugs, or for something. But they never again had it after the
Nope.
fire.
Nope, it didn't.
And it was never quite as pretty. I mean, they had the angels with the trumpets.
Yeah.
Look, but that, if you'd ever seen the other thing, and when you looked at that from up by the State House and looked down, and all of a sudden there was the chandelier. It was just beautiful to look
But there
down.
was never no. Was there any explanation why
No,
that
nothing.
disappeared?
No. It just stopped.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really anybody. I don't think even the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce was in the other half of Merrimack County Savings Bank.
Yep.
They were right there on the corner of Warren.
Yeah.
And I think if you asked them, they wouldn't have known either. It just stopped. And it was around that time that the decorations were changed.
Oh, I know.
Too.
Because we had the nice pictures that
Yes,
lit up. They
yes,
did the big
yeah.
ones.
Yes.
Prior, I guess they had the small round ones that went
Yes.
to Pennacook afterwards or on the side street.
And in the 30s, they had draped across the street, all down. I've seen pictures of up and through World War II, they were right across.
Oh, yes.
Strewn across. And
Yeah.
after the war or something, they changed that. But,
My father mentioned that. He said back then Concord had pretty lights.
Yes,
back then.
yes, yeah. Like Manchester had for a long time
Yeah.
across the street like that. But no, Edson C. Eastman was on the other side of the street,
Oh yeah,
correct?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I remember.
A lot of these stores I never went in because I was a kid and there wasn't any reason to go in. But I liked the names. We had such,
I know.
it was so individual.
Bell Shop,
Yes, yes.
Emmons.
Of course. And the one on Main Street was Harry G. Emmons. It had his whole
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Then when they went down to the shopping center, it became just Emmons.
Yeah.
But my mother only went there a couple of times. She needed a dress to wear to the country club cotillion my parents were invited to. And for that, she said, we have to go to Emmons. And she spent $39 on a dress, which was outrageous.
Back then, yeah.
Yes.
I know.
But because normally she would go to one of the other, stores downtown. Dorothy Bailey was on Warren Street,
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Fickett's Jewelry.
Yep. Yes. Was there a long time up there.
That's right too.
Very, very.
French's Radio Shop and Record Store.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was a great record store.
Oh my
there.
gosh, my mom. We had a record club in there where we could go and buy records on a club. We had 10-week clubs.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's where I got most of my records back then.
And then over in Pleasant Street, we had Stevens Music Store.
Sure.
Stevens Music Store sold pianos and organs. They had listening rooms in there where you could go in and try out the piano before you bought it. It was soundproof. Or if you wanted to buy music, you could go in and try it out on the piano before you paid for it. So they sold a lot of instruments for the bands. That's where I got my oboe. Mr. Galliuso sent me to Stevens to get my oboe.
Who was Bob Hall? He had music. Wasn't it Bob Hall? band or something?
I think so. I think so.
Wasn't many, but there
No.
were a few of them. I remember them marching ones.
Yeah. I don't know where he was located.
No.
though.
And you had Furs by Lieber.
Yep. Yes.
And I only know that because
Yes.
my doctor's office, Dr. Halligan,
Yeah.
was in that yellow brick building, like a castle,
Uh-huh.
next to him, or somewhere in that area, and then we used to park there.
Ah.
And you'd see these fur coats or whatever and the
Mm-hmm.
dummies in the window there, and it's like, oh boy.
And then HFC loans were somewhere along in there on the side of the street where Gondwanda is for a long time, because they had a huge sign that stood out. And some other loan company was over by Diversies. And I don't remember what that one was, but there were two of those loan companies.
I know what you
that were
mean, though.
big.
Yeah, I know what you. I can almost see them.
And then the
Avco,
maybe. Was it?
Avco, or something like that.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's got the. And then Lilios's place on the corner.
Yeah.
I remember when it was Super X.
That's
was,
it, yeah.
Way back, late 60s, early 70s. But I don't remember what it was before that.
Wasn't that a drugstore? No.
Was it another drugstore? We had a lot of drugstores.
Oh yeah, we did. A lot of family drugstores. Yeah.
Because
Pharmacies.
Fortier's Pharmacy was up near Carlin's Cafe there, and there was a liquor store, in that part that was torn down for urban renewal. When they redid Bridge Street, when
Yes,
Angelo's got torn down and all of that.
Yeah, the Concord Lodge of Elks there. That big
Yes.
hall was there.
But Fortier's Pharmacy was up in that area, next to the liquor store. And
you had Baker Boy Bakery. That was in there. Fletcher Murphy was in there.
Yep,
And the liquor store.
yep.
Then Caroline's, which my mother would say, don't look there. Don't look at that.
Well, the thing is, we could smell it. If you had the car windows open in the summertime, as you came into town, you could smell that. And you saw, and my parents would call it a flop house.
Yeah.
Because there were always people on the steps.
Oh, yeah.
And it just had that kind of.
It had that one too many
Yeah.
sodas.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't look there. Don't look at it.
But that was.
Don't look at that.
That was something,
gosh.
though. That was really. And the A&P, of
Garbos.
course, was Garbos, yes. Oh, yeah.
I know.
Long before Vino.
Nobody would ever
goodness.
know that A&P was on Park Street.
No, there's nothing at all
You
left.
would never know there was
No.
a grocery store.
And that was
there.
one of the busiest places in town.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a lot of things from there.
Yeah.
And they fresh ground the coffee, and it always smelled so good when you went in there. But yeah, the A&P was quite the place.
Nobody ever would know there was a...
No.
Of course, before my time, I remember my folks talking about Mohegan's
Yes.
Market.
Right. My mom went there when she first came to Concord. She would go there.
Yeah.
And she said it was wonderful, and the prices, and they got great seafood in, fresh seafood on Fridays. And as a Catholic, they would do fish on Friday.
Yeah.
And then across the State House Plaza there on Capitol Street was Concord Electric for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Because I remember taking the bill in for my parents to have it paid, and they would do that right there. But it was a beehive of activity.
Oh, I know.
And
Well, Friday night always was Concord's night.
it was.
Thursday night was Manchester, but Friday night was Concord.
It was, and it was almost like a party.
Oh, yeah.
There was the same kind of feeling you get when they did the old-fashioned bargain days. But every Friday night, you knew you'd run into all your
Everybody,
friends
yeah.
and people you knew, and people just seemed to be in a good mood.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially in the summertime, you'd see the police officers doing the traffic duty
Yes.
out on the street. The
Yes.
different offices there.
And when I worked at the Concord Theater, there was always a police officer that had the downtown beat. And every night he would come in at 8 o'clock. He'd go inside, just
Yep.
look around to make sure there were no disturbances. And on the way out, Teresa would try to give him free popcorn. He'd say, "Sorry, ma'am, I'm on the job." But but it was very reliable that every night you knew there was a policeman that was going to come in and check on things, and it was a great place to live. It really
it was,
and
then up on School Street, you had another version of Polly Susan.
Polly Susan,
Bakery.
yes, right before the American Legion Hall. And there was that alley in between because Woolworths had a back door. You could go out into that alley. And the manager stood guard there because for some reason they put the comic books in the back of the store right by that door. And there were kids that were grabbing the comic books and then they'd go out that way. And I suggested to him one day, why don't you move the comic books down front?
Yeah, really.
Where this isn't going to happen. And he said, corporate.
Yeah, corporate.
Yeah.
Corporate.
So, but yeah, that I liked that Polly Susan's because it was smaller.
Yeah.
And Saturday afternoon it would be packed because everybody wanted to get their pastries for Sunday morning or something like that. But it was a good bakery. We were very fortunate to have Polly Susan and to have Janet's. I mean, we had some really, fine. And again, it was local people.
Yes, I know.
And local business, and it was delicious. So.
Janet's Donuts, boy, they were just.
And after 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning, you could smell them because they went in there and started. Yeah. And that whole Downing Street and that whole area of town, you could smell the donuts.
Yeah.
But,
no, I can tell you, just looking over how Main Street shaped up there. I saw a picture.
Yes.
Was it this week or somewhere? It showed the down. Maybe it was you that sent me I think on Facebook a picture of the Main Street area. And I could pick out different things and I said, my gosh.
Yeah.
How it changed.
Yeah.
But
fortunately Endicott Furniture's still there, and that's been there almost 100 years, I think.
It is.
1925 actually. It was 1925
oh, really?
They opened, yes. And in that location. And then, of course, the Concord Theater was a bakery, the Norris, RRIS Bakery, from the 1840s until the 1920s. That was where people went to get their bread. Yeah. And so it was... and I'm not sure what the Friendly Club was before it was the Friendly Club, because as far back as I can remember, it was the Friendly Club. And... and there wasn't a lot from that part down like there is.
No.
Where Haggett's was a grocery store, wasn't it, at one point, I think?
Haggett's. Well, yeah.
Haggett's was where the co-op is.
Well, that's where the original First National was.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Then when they built that one down there on Water Street.
Yes.
That's when Super Duper went in. Remember Super Duper?
Yes.
And that didn't last too long.
No.
And that's when then they subdivided, I think, and Haggett's took one sign and didn't UPS take the other side.
Eventually, yes. Maureen and her business, Yeah. But
I just, I remember them, my grandparents, my grandmother and mother going into Super Duper there. But no, when they ended up going down to First National, because I can't remember who the woman lady was, but she knew my grandmother and my mother, and they were always so friendly. It's like you knew everybody.
Oh, you did, yeah.
And
then across the street from that was the Pizza Center, of course, where Constantly is now.
Oh, yes, that's right, too.
And further down, Harry's Steakhouse. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, Harry's Steakhouse.
Yeah, Harry Lilios.
Yeah, I never went there, but I remember that.
Yeah, and that burned down.
God, I know it.
But down in there, I don't remember the names of some of the stores that far down because I never really...
Well, Worthmore Mills was down in there. That was like a grain place or something down in behind there. I remember that because Dad drove down in there. Then there was Western Auto was a big thing. I got my first bicycle there. They did. My father bought it there, and I was trying to think it was next to Western Auto. Interesting, but
But,
it's fun to think about those.
oh, it is.
But
it
you
is.
but you tell people that today, and they think, huh?
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't know what you're talking about.
But the number of businesses that we had downtown was amazing. I mean,
Oh, I know.
and yet we had lots of places to eat. I mean, you had Charles Grill across
Yeah.
from the State House.
Yeah.
Every 5 and dime at lunchtime was filled.
Oh yeah.
So were the drugstores. Most of them had lunch encounters, and
Yeah.
Puritan was always busy at lunchtime, and you know, I don't know who went to Phillips Restaurant there on the side, but it always smelled like Carlin's a little bit. And they had smoked windows, so you could never,
Yes, you
if you
never
walked
look
by,
in
you
there,
could never
look
see
in
what was
there.
going
No,
on.
I know it. That was
But
fun.
the Endicott Grill was a nice place for underneath the Endicott Hotel by the barber shop.
Oh
going
yes,
down.
that's right. I remember that. now.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
right too.
Then at the foot of the hill, that place where it's another nail place now, but that was Big John's restaurant.
Was that the Pleasant Street Cafe?
At the very bottom of the hill, on the left side, one-story building. Yeah, that.
Because I know my father used to take me into this place for haircuts on Saturday morning,
Uh-huh.
and they were brothers,
Ah,
and they both smoked, and gosh, as a kid you'd
Yeah.
smell it.
yeah.
They'd blow it in your face or something. There's always the non-filters, but they were just down the hill, and
Yeah.
it was just on your left side.
Uh-huh.
There was like the Pleasant Street Cafe
Yeah.
in there.
Uh-huh.
There was something else, and then that barber shop.
Mm.
So yeah, I know. Isn't it weird how boy times have changed, or haven't they? Remember the Ambassador restaurant?
Yes. Love the Ambassador there.
I've never been in there, but
Yeah, where Thursdays ended up
Yes,
being. Now it's an
yeah.
Indian restaurant.
yeah.
But the Ambassador was very nice. At lunchtime, evenings, it was out of range for just about anybody but lawyers and doctors and dentists. But it was very nice, and the food was good, and it had a nice atmosphere.
Wow.
But
And then on Pleasant Street, there we had Nolt's Pharmacy.
Yep. That's where Tim Shirtliff worked forever and ever.
And I
ever.
never knew that.
He was Stephen's brother.
I never knew
No.
that. Oh my goodness! Ding ding on that too. Now,
Wow. That went quick.
So, yeah.
I'll have to come back.
Why? I think you should. I missed you all last year off and on. Before we leave, I was telling the last show, he turned 40 years old this last weekend.
Wow. He looks 30.
I know, 25.
20, yeah.
You know,
It's working here and doing this that keeps him young.
I know. I'd be lost without him.
He's amazing. He really
He
is.
really is. I mean, this guy has really been, like I said, my guardian angel.
And his energy makes everyone around him feel even
Oh, yeah.
better.
Yeah,
I mean, he just keeps spirits up.
he
And
does. I mean,
So,
I
if we
miss
could
him.
harness his energy, we could light a couple of cities.
I'd miss him when he's not here. Well, with that in mind, we'll come to a close. And again, I'm visiting and reminiscing with Paul Brogan and Concord then and now. And we hope that you have enjoyed the show. And when you see Ian, tell him happy birthday, or go on Facebook and wish him a belated happy birthday. But we hope you have a great week. Enjoy the sunshine, and get ready for Mother's Day and Memorial Day and all that coming up. So I'm your host, Dick Patten. Enjoy it. We'll see you soon.